Dark Souls 2 ended with the bearer of the curse sitting atop the throne of want, given the choice to link the fire once more or listen to Aldia's evidence and usher in the Age of Dark. Personally, I think he did try and usher in the Age of Dark. After all, he crafted the crown of the Four Kings. The curse. After all, he crafted the crown from the Four Kings that cures the negative side effects of the curse, granting him immortality without the cost of his sanity, meaning he could rule the kingdom of humans forever. So, when Dark Souls 3 begins, the first question we must answer is, what happened? Dark Souls 3 answers this in its opening cutscene, showing us a new facet to the curse, an aspect we've been unaware of until now, but has always been there in the background. If anyone refuses to link the flame, the curse evolves into its next step, resurrecting previous people who have linked the flame, who are given the titles the Lord of Cinder, allowing them to once again re-sacrifice themselves to keep the first flame alight for just a few more years. If the Lords of Cinder refuse, then the curse evolves again, reviving people who tried to link the fire in the past but failed because they were too weak. Given a second chance to take the Lord of Cinder's soul for themselves and attempt to link the flame once again. These are called unkindled ash, and if these measures sound desperate, it's because they are. It really shows just how deep Gwyn's fear that his Age of Fire would come to an end, and it explains why these cycles have continued for so long. Even if the chosen undead and bearer of the curse never link the fire, the curse is so much worse than we ever realised, reviving people again and again to endlessly burn, forcing someone to kill the old characters and link it themselves. Dark Souls 3 is yet another cycle. This time, in this cycle, it's called Lothric. Dranleic was a different kingdom completely. However, Lothric is partially built over the top of Lordran, the world from Dark Souls 1. After eons of this cycle, society has changed. In Lordran, humans with a dark sign were feared, captured and imprisoned in asylums far away from anywhere else. In Dranleic, the king was researching a cure for the curse to save his subjects, despite his brother realising that the hollowing process was part of nature. It is how humans should have been, without mortality being given to us as part of the first sin. Gwyn tying humanity, the shards of the Dark Soul, to the first flame. The kingdom of Lothric has been built differently. This is the first kingdom that we see that has been built around accepting the cycle as part of the natural order, instead of fighting it. The once mistreated Hollows now have a church, the Sable Church, whom accepts hollowing as natural and a privilege, granting you immortality. The concept of the Age of Dark is worshipped, yet Lothric's royal family is built upon the idea of creating a worthy heir, powerful enough to link the first flame when the time arrives. The Age of Fire is protected. The kingdom is ruled by King Oceiros, who had two heirs. His firstborn, Lordran, was trained to be a fighter. His secondborn was born to inherit his legacy and link the fire. His secondborn, Lothric, named after the kingdom itself, was born to inherit his legacy and link the fire. However, the prince was born sick. Worried about the kingdom falling into darkness, Oceiros enters the Grand Archives and researches Seath the Pale Drake Dragon's work to see if he could discover a secret in his old research, giving up his son's education to a scholar. The research drives Oceiros mad. In his absence, a civil war breaks out in the kingdom between the Lothric Knights and the Winged Knights, and the scholar teaching Prince Lothric begins to teach and convince his student to forego his destiny and not link the fire. Nobody wins the civil war. The fire once again fades, and this time nobody lights it. So the next step begins, and the four Lords of Cinder are reborn. The Abyss Watchers, Yhorm the Giant, Aldrich the Devourer, and Ludloth. The Abyss Watchers are a legion of warriors, empowered by wolf's blood and trained to fight the Abyss, who once fought for the land. However, linking the fire the first time burned the wolf blood out of them, causing them to go insane. They detect the insanity within themselves, so now endlessly fight each other to rid their own ranks of madness. Yhorm the Giant sacrificed himself in order to save his kingdom from the profaned flame, which rained down and destroyed his kingdom as soon as he linked the fire. Aldrich was unlike the others, never part of the lineage. Instead, he was a devourer, imprisoned for eating everything, and gaining power from that destruction. He grew so powerful, linking the flames became his punishment, and now that very flame has revived him once more. So he travels to Anor, the city of the gods, to continue his feast and eat whichever gods remain. Only Lothric agrees to link the flames once more, and he alone is not enough. So the curse continues, reviving the failures of the past, the unkindled ash, who manages to grow in strength and best the lords, finally standing at the final flame, with one final choice to make. Does he link the fire and continue letting the world limp on? Or does he refuse, holding out until the curse inevitably changes again? Neither, for the Ashen One has a third choice, to usurp the fire and become the Lord of Hollows. While hunting the Lords of Cinder, the Ashen One meets Yhorm of the Sable Church, who brands him with the Dark Sign. The Dark Sign is no stranger to us, the player, but it's an affliction of the living, not the once dead. So unkindled ash usually can't get this curse, until Yhorm makes it so, allowing you to hollow unnaturally. This unnatural hollowing is something Yhorm and the church is waiting for, so prepares the Ashen One and performs a ritualistic wedding ceremony to another unkindled ash. Then, when at the first flame, the Ashen One takes the first flame into himself. The fire hasn't been extinguished, so the age of fire hasn't ended. Yet the first flame is no longer part of the world, so it also isn't the age of dark. This ending finally breaks the cycle, and the world can go into its next way of life. This usurpation of fire ending is probably the canon ending, with the world becoming a very different place for a time. But the DLC shows us that no matter what happens, the world will end. Sprang forward in time to help a painter create a new and peaceful world, the Ashen One confronts the end of time, and whichever ending you choose, this is where the world ends, with time and space closing in on itself, with Firelink Shrine and the ring cities of the Pygmies back from the first cycle being crushed next to the earthen peak of Dran Lake, a kingdom from eons later across the sea, crushed next to each other before all turning to dust, with the last few immortal Pygmy lords being all that are left, nothing but ash. This ending seems bleak, but the metaphor is not. From Software are done with Dark Souls. It will keep getting bleaker until nothing but ash remains. Instead, they want to paint a new, more peaceful world. Maybe the painter creates the world of Sekiro or Elden Ring. Thanks for watching.